Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the S.H.Figuarts 1.0 Piccolo as well as the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Anime Colors 1.0 Piccolo. Now, this Piccolo was, I believe, the very first S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball figure that they ever released, and it shows because there's some things that evolved over time, but there are a lot of things that the older figures did do that the modern ones don't, which is a bit of a shame. But also, with age comes, sort of degradation in certain points, like, articulation's not as good because the joints are a lot more loose because it's pre-owned, it's been played with over many years. I think it's like 17 or 18 years old at this point. So there are some sort of caveats to this, but in general, this is the first Dragon Ball Figuarts release, and it is representative of the line for a good while. So taken out of the box, here's what Piccolo comes with. It's the same between both figures. So the figure itself, you get an alternate head sculpt with the turban off as well as one with it on, which sort of became a mainstay for Piccolo figures going forward. You also get folded arms accessories, special beam cannon hand. You also get the cloak, of course, it is a hard plastic. And you get alternate chest pieces for the cloak for if you want to display him with his arms folded or not. Because of the way that it's sculpted, it's very hard to have him folded arms over the piece regularly, so they've made a specific piece for that. And like I said, it's the same between both figures, so it is nice that there's no real lost accessories there between the two. But taken out of the box and put on a display, here are the figures, and they look pretty good all things considered. So you can see there is a stark contrast between the original release and the San Diego Comic-Con one. The 1.0 figures tended to have a lot more paint on them anyway, and compared to the more modern releases where they have less paint, the sculpts are a little bit more noticeable for the recycling, because it's just, the same color plastic with sometimes shading, sometimes not. But the 1.0 figures, typically there was quite a bit of shading and or paint put on these figures. So you can see between the original release, which is a little bit more manga accurate, as well as the San Diego Comic-Con release, the color difference is like night and day. And it's really impressive how the same sculpt can look completely different with just a different coat of paint, which is really cool. Now, moving to posability, these are 1.0 figures, so it's a little bit dated at this point. So there's a ball joint in the head and neck. This is an old figure, so the head pops off very, very easily, but it's still a pretty okay range of motion. The arms can rotate all the way around. They've got a floating shoulder piece. There's an upper arm swivel, bend at the elbow, and ball hinge at the wrist. Pretty normal to what we have now, actually. There's a ball joint in the waist, floating belt. The legs can split that far, kick forward and back that far. There's sort of a swivel at the ball joint. There's a bend at the knees, pivot at the ankle, like a ball joint, as well as a hinge at the toes. Nothing too crazy, very indicative of what the 1.0 line would be like. Again, this was the first Dragon Ball S.H.Figuarts, so it sort of set the precedent, and it's pretty okay, all things considered, especially back then. And you get what you need. Now, for faces, you get a sort of standard scowling, serious face out of the box. There's a teeth clenched angry face looking to the side with sort of a vein popping. It's very much a special beam cannon head, as well as the same sort of neutral expression but with the turban on. This is the same for the San Diego Comic-Con release as well. All of the faces are well detailed and, generally read as Dragon Ball Z, which is nice, because around the 2.0 era, sometimes you lost a little bit of detail in the faces and some of the characters didn't read quite right, but still generally looked like the character, but sometimes there's something a little bit lost in the faces, which we've sort of recaptured now with the heavier focus on the cartoon sort of detailing hard lines and details on the faces. But with the accessories and the face options, you can get these Piccolos into some pretty alright poses. Nothing too exciting, especially if you are putting on the cape, because it's a full-on hard plastic cape that comes in, awkward pieces, especially the chest part that plugs in on this soft mushroom peg. It's a little bit awkward, but he does look good with it, and this sort of set the precedent, like I said, for the line going forward, and having as heavily of an accessorized figure as this to start out a line is pretty impressive. Both the San Diego Comic-Con one and the original release both like visually hold up pretty well. Like they have aged a bit, like they are really floppy and awkward to pose around just because of the age of the joints, but I'm sure when they first came out it was much tighter. Upper body articulation, we haven't changed that much, and it still like holds its own fairly well. They're decent figures, nothing too crazy. I think we've gotten really, really good, especially recently, like the adult Daima Piccolo is really good, the orange Piccolo, superhero Piccolo was really good as well. I think that we've sort of nailed the design, but it took a long time before we got there, and this line, especially the original releases, they weren't bad. Some of them were lacking in accessories or detail, but to like come out of the gate swinging with this figure is pretty damn good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. As you can see, I'm hard at work making new videos for the channel. Now, while I'm happy with where the channel is right now, I could use your help. By liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel, it helps out the YouTube algorithm and recommends my channel to more people. So if you like any of my videos, please let me know, it really helps out. And if you liked this one, please let me know too. It means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate all of you guys.